Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast, I've got to say I'm delighted to be joined by Kieran Smith. Kieran, first and foremost, mate, how is things your end?
All good, mate. All good. Everyone's running to plan.
Well, running to plan. Well, I hope it's running to plan because you've got a good fight end of the month against Troy Williamson. I said to you before I pushed record, it's a fight that's been penciled in for a good couple of years now. Both undefeated fighters, both in that top 10 in Britain in the light middleweight division, super welterweight, whatever you want to call it. Just what's your thoughts on the fight itself then?
I think it's a good fight. It's a great fight. We fought in the amateurs. He narrowly beat me. I thought I won. A lot of people thought I won, but it's by the by. It's kind of try to be casted up by that about the amateurs, but he was the first one to come out and say it. He knows I'm not going to be the same. I know he's not going to be the same. The two of us have much more matured as pros, and I believe this is going to be a brilliant fight.
I mentioned that so that I mean I'm looking forward to it. It's a fight that you've been wanting. You've been wanting the big names, probably 4 or 5 fights. Where every time I've spoke to you, you've mentioned that you're done now. You want the big names. Now Troy is a big name, like I said to you. He's top 10 in that division of yours, that super welterweight division. It's a tough division that you're in right now, but you haven't fought since I think it was November 2019. It'll be a year and a half that you've been out the ring. Now I say this to all fighters that have been out the ring for so long. Will there be any ring rust for you going into this fight?
No. I've had a good long camp. I've been sparring. I've kept active. I've kept sparring all the time. It's different for other fighters that have been at the gym. They're boozing, they're eating shit, all that kind of stuff. I live the life, so I didn't believe that's going to affect me at all.
Again, what does this fight do for your career then, Kieran? Like I said, it's in a tough division. Now, I will mention names later on, but it is a tough division that you're in terms of domestic level. It's probably the toughest division right now domestically. And so what does the win for you against Troy, what does that do for your career?
Well, it's massive, isn't it? But obviously it's British title final eliminator, so whoever wins cracks on, gets their crack at the British title. And Cheeseman, they're talking about Cheeseman Fowler fighting. Cheeseman's got to face one of us at some point, you know what I mean? He's got to face his mandatory.
Well, that's it. Even if he manages to get a voluntary in before he faces the mandatory, like I said to you, this win propels you up to these names now. You're in the, like I said to you, it's the toughest division domestically, arguably. I don't think anyone can. One or two anyway. You mentioned Cheeseman, you mentioned Fowler, but then you can add in Scott Fitzgerald, and then you can add in Sam Eggington. Do you know what I mean? Then you can add in, let's see, Kieran Conway as well. Yourself, JJ Metcalf is still he put in a good fight against Cheeseman as well a couple of weekends ago. So right now, like, there's no hiding what have you beat Troy Williamson end of the month. You're in for tough fights going forward, ain't you?
Aye, 100%. That's what you're in the sport for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're in the sport for. If you didn't want that, then what you in the sport for?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the names, though, are you excited to be in this division, Kieran? Because I mean, like I said, it's like there's bangers in this division. You've got Liam Smith is obviously at the top right now. Obviously, he's world level. There's probably no talking about Liam Smith.
Aye.
But when you look at the guys like Cheeseman and Fowler and Scott Fitzgerald and JJ Metcalf, Sam Eggington and stuff like that, I mean, if you look at their style of fighting, it's not your style of fighting. They're come forward sort of fighters. So are you prepared for this sort of all-out onslaught that's going to come your way when you fight one of these guys?
Aye. You ever seen a bull and a matador?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're the matador.
It's not hard to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I've not seen very many bulls winning a view.
No, I haven't, mate, to be honest. Well, sometimes you see the bull, sometimes God is the matador with a horn like that. That's one in the blue moon.
No, of course I'm excited, and I believe that boxing will always beat fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But I can fight when it comes to it too. I don't shorten fights because what's the point? That's not what I'm there for. If I can make it easy for myself, make it easy for myself. Ask anybody I spar though.
Mm-hmm. Ask
anybody I spar. Everybody I spar's like, I can't believe how good you're inside for a big guy.
Well, that's the sort of same as I've seen you fight on the inside when you've got your opponents up against the ropes and stuff like that. You step in and you work the body quite well, similar to what Josh Taylor does with his opponent when he pins him up against the ropes and stuff like that. So you have got that inside fighting to your game as well as your reach? Because you what are you 6'1"?
6'2", aye.
6'2". Okay, 6'2". I'll give you that.
What are you, 5'4"?
No, I'm 6 foot on the button, mate. So like I say, like you can adapt to any sort of style of fight that's going to come your way, because Troy Williamson is sort of similar to them as well. He comes forward a little bit as well. Are you expecting a tough fight against Troy?
Of course, aye. I'm prepared for 12 hard rounds.
Mm-hmm.
There's no corners cut here. As I've spoke about in other interviews, and people that keep asking the same kind of questions, what you've just asked me. Are you excited to be in the super welterweight division? Are you excited this fight, that fight? No, I'm excited about the fight that's in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
My full focus is on that. You need to win that fight to get into these other fights.
Still in that fight, then how do you beat Troy Williamson? Then how do you beat somebody like him, an undefeated fighter like yourself, a hungry fighter like yourself? So you're going to come with you're going to get the best Troy. I'm assuming you're expecting the best Troy. So how do you beat him?
Boxing smart. If it comes to fighting, then we'll need to fight.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bigger engine. I know that.
Well, I know you've got a big engine, mate. You cycle 100 miles. You run 50 miles up mountains. I mean, arguably you could be the fittest guy in boxing, to be honest.
There's nobody got to touch me engine. I'm not going to be the guy that's blowing it in there. So if it comes to a fight, then so be it.
I always ask you this question. I'm going to ask it again because I want to get a bloody answer at you. When you look at the guys in this division, the top guys that I mentioned, the Cheesemans, Fowlers, and Fitzgeralds, and that, who tickles your fancy the most to fight?
Troy Williamson.
That's it. You're fully focused on Troy. 100%.
Troy Williamson tickles my fancy now.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. That's a great answer, mate. Probably should have just told me to shut the fuck up.
That's my focus. There's no point, like just exactly what you're talking about. All these names, it doesn't matter to me. You know?
Yeah,
the names they're irrelevant to me at the moment. You know what I mean?
As a selfish Scotsman, I'm going to ask the question because I always ask this question to like Josh and Cash and Lee and stuff like that when I speak to them. And that Scottish boxing's on the up right now with Josh Taylor fighting for the undisputed titles. You've got Lee McGregor just became European champion in his 10th fight as well. You've got Cash Farouk fighting at the weekend. We've had a couple of setbacks with John Dockett and Willie Hutchison, but for you, do you think that you can be that guy that comes alongside like the Cash Farouks and you can come all along and fight for these names and stuff like that? Because Scottish boxing, I want, again, selfishly for me, I want multiple Scottish world champions and multiple Scottish world European champions and stuff like that.
I want this fight at the castle that Josh Taylor keeps talking about to happen so I can go on the fucking undercard. That's what I want.
Well, listen, let's get it happen. Let's hope Josh gets this undisputed, wins all the titles, and we can do it.
I know. Aye, but definitely, I believe I can push on and put my name up there with the likes of Josh Taylor and Lee McGregor. You know what I mean? Cash Farouk.
Because, like I said, when the fans are back, though, Kieran, man, it's going to imagine the you, Cash, Lee, Josh, and all that sort of stuff. The big names that we can get up here, the big fight nights and stuff like that. But it's for me again. I keep going back to it. It's selfish for me to ask, but it's just I'm just passionate about. I want this small nation to get back to, because, like I said, we're generational fighters. We have Ken Buchanan, then Jim Watt, then whoever, then Scott Harrison, then Alex Arthur, then Ricky Burns, then Josh Taylor. We've never had multiple.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
That's it. And see what you've just said there now. You've got all the likes of Josh Taylor. You've got Cash Farouk. You've got Lee McGregor. You've got me coming through. You've got all the guys, Willie Hutchison's, your John Docherty's, younger guys coming through. And there's stacks of talent as well coming through that aren't even getting mentioned at the moment. You know what I mean? I'd be here all day rhyming off names.
Mm-hmm.
But we've never really had that depth in Scotland before.
Yeah.
That we've got now. And I believe that if to do with promoters and stuff like that, but if that kind of stuff can get put to the side and everybody can get put on a show, you're selling out big stadiums all the time. That.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree, Kieran. But for you fought at the Emirates Arena, you fought in places in Josh and the Commonwealth Games, finally at the Hydro and all this sort of stuff. So you fought in big crowds leading up. I know you have fought with no crowds in your amateur days, obviously, but that's been a long time ago.
Yep.
You've never done it in the pro ranks. Are you expecting how are you gonna approach this fight with no crowds and inside that bubble atmosphere? Because I know you've yet to experience it yet.
I'll just take it as it comes. I didn't believe it's going to affect me. If you mean by the fight, it'll not affect me by the fight in any way, shape or form. Like you said, it's been a while since amateurs, but you know what I mean. I spar in like gyms all over the country, when away sparring, and let's face it, with 16-ounce gloves on, a lot of the guys you're sparring, they would love to be able to knock you out. You know what I mean? So it's just like a fight half the time. But you've just got a head guard by a gloves on. There's no crowd in there though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well that's very true. But under them lights and the heat from the lights and stuff like that, and all you can hear is your coaches. It's like I suppose it is like a spar. Since I've been a couple of bubbles, you can hear the punches and you can hear the coaches shouting and stuff like that, which you won't normally hear when you're at boxing shows. So it probably is a well paid spar.
If anything, it's going to suit me even better. If anything, it'll suit me better.
You're fighting down in London, isn't it? Yeah, it's down London, isn't it?
Yeah. PT should do London.
Definitely. Well, listen, I want to get your thoughts on the fight, and I'm excited for you, mate, because you have been calling out for this for so long now. These big name fights, and I mean, a year out the ring isn't good for any fighter. And I know you stay fit. I know the sort of type of man you are in terms of the way you train and stuff like that. If people don't follow you on Instagram, follow them on Instagram, because you're up and down mountains nearly every day, cycling, swimming, fucking.
I cut that out for camp, mate. We got specific. If you follow me on Instagram, then after the fight, you'll see me at that.
Yeah, you'll see it. Well, follow him after the fight, but he's no one carries up mountains anyway. That's what I'm saying. But one final word from you then, Kieran.
Aye.
Troy Williamson, 30th of this month. What can we expect from you? What can the fans that are tuning into BD Sport, what can they expect from you?
Expect the best Kieran Smith. A first-class performance. And no less. That's it.
Definitely. Well, Kieran, like I say, I'm looking forward to the fight. I wish you nothing but good luck, mate. Good to see you again. Good to speak to you again.
Thanks very much.
Hope camp goes well, mate, and good luck on your fight. And hopefully I'll speak to you. Cheers, Kieran.
Cheers, Andy. Cheers, mate. Thank you.